it's Eden. I just wanted to pop in with another product review from the beautypreneur perspective, and I'm going to try and do as many black-owned products as possible, just so we can give them some shine and highlight them. And I generally only review products I like in terms of I like their effectiveness. Because I prefer not to drag people on the internet because I think it's unkind. So today we're going to be doing Lakshmi's Cupboard Bhaasvataa oil, and this is a woman, I forget where she's based, I think it's on the East Coast somewhere. She does completely handmade products made exquisitely, carefully, with care. You can tell she really knows her stuff herbally, she really knows her stuff formulation wise, and she really knows how to apply all of this to the world of natural black hair. And it's really a charming site, lakshmiscupboard.com. Go check her out, support a sister. She's really doing good stuff. So I have bought several things from her in the past. I've bought the conditioner, shampoo conditioner bars, and I've bought the Bhaasvataa oil repeatedly. And recently, the last time I bought the Bhaasvataa oil, I also ordered some of her herb powders because I was out and I didn't feel like walking to my local herb lady to get more. Yes, you can make this yourself at home, but in the interim, like if you're waiting for your oil to steep, and I'll go into the making of an oil later, or if you just want to try something different, if you're experiencing hair loss, or you feel like your hair is thinning in places, or you just want thicker hair, or you want your hair to grow faster, you want a nice healthy scalp treatment, maybe you suffer from dandruff, you're doing Prepoos anyway, or oil rinses anyway, you might as well enrich the Prepoo oil rinse experience with this oil. So it is a castor oil base. She has others that are based in coconut oil, if coconut oil is your thing. Coconut oil doesn't really work for us really that well in the desert, well, at least not for about 50% of us. In humid climates, I feel like it works for almost everyone. But in drier climates, sometimes coconut oil, the feel on the skin and the hair is different. So, castor oil works for me. Castor oil is also really great at thickening and growing hair. And both my kids, and even we have kind of, it doesn't appear that way on me. On my kids, it's more obvious. I have sort of finer hair. It's very coarse, but it's also kind of finer, thinner hair. I just have lots of it, so it looks like I have a full head of hair, but it's a full head of fine, thin hair. And my daughter's hair is kind of the same too, and my son's. So things like this are really beneficial for our hair type. It helps with hair growth. We all experience normal levels of hair growth. And so, we don't really super need this, but hey, it's always fun to grow hair super fast. And it also has some marshmallow root, I guess, which helps with slip, and calendula. Calendula is great for any sort of rashy type things, for balancing the scalp, things like eczema, psoriasis. If you suffer from that, this could help you. It also has the usual Ayurvedic suspects for hair growth, hair strengthening, hair loss, slowing down the graying process: amla, bringraj, brahmi, and neem, which also kind of helps to balance the scalp. Shikakai kind of is more of a cleansing herb, but it can also help with strengthening hair and growing hair. So she's put them all in this oil. She doesn't say whether she created a cold infusion, which means you just leave the herbs sitting in oil for a period of time at room temperature. And if you want to know how to do that, I do have a free botanical extracts workshop where I show you how to do several different types of herbal extracts to help you save money so you don't have to buy extracts from other people once you get to making your own concoctions. And you get that by subscribing to the newsletter, and the link will be in the description box below. But yeah, to make a cold infusion, I feel like that's the best way, the gentlest way, and you really kind of preserve the best qualities of the herbs that way. There are some things that require heat to remove them, like roots that aren't powdered, or yeah, mostly roots. They usually require some heat to release, or like some of the medicinal mushrooms if they're not powdered. Like you can throw a reishi mushroom in a vat of oil and get much out of it, but if you threw reishi powder in a vat of oil, over time you'd probably get something out of it, right? So, but most things are usually leaves or flowers, and when they're not, they're like powdered roots. So all those things can be cold infused in an oil. I like to steep mine for 10 to 12 weeks. Like I have 3 different jars of different oils steeping right now. One is about 4 weeks along, and and 2 are like 1 week along. So I have a long ways to go, and I still have some that I harvested a few weeks back, and I still have that, but I know that I will run out of that before my current batches are done steeping. So I love buying hair oils from other people when I can, and when people make stuff this good, I'll buy it. So if you make this and you do a good job, I will buy it from you, I promise. So yeah, it really thickens. I remember when I first discovered her, I used it on my daughter maybe like 2 years ago or 3 years ago, and I could really tell at the time she was like maybe 3 or so, that it really thickened the hair. I mean, like almost after the first wash. And it moisturizes for days. For the kids and even for myself, I tend to do oil rinses more than prepoos. So oil rinses, I feel like, I'll retain a lot more of the oil on the scalp, and also it helps to keep the hair more moisturized, even before you leave your leave-in product, so that the hair stays moisturized for a longer time when I do an oil rinse than it does when I don't. Or even after the conditioning process, it just feels softer, it feels kind of more nourished. Yeah, and it also helps with detangling, like if you detangle in the conditioner phase of your hair wash process, your fingers will fly through more easily. So I do like that aspect of it. There are benefits to both. Sometimes I'll do a pre-poo too, not usually on my kids, but on myself because they're young and squirrely. So yeah, so if you wanted to make something like this, I would take about a mason jar, say the mason jar is that big, and I would fill about a quarter of it. I would fill, if you want a really strong, potent thing, I would fill 2/3 of it with the herbs that you want to do, if they're leaves or flowers, right? If it's powdered, I would go with either like 1/3 of the jar or half of the jar, because powders are just more concentrated. So fill that with herbs, and then top the rest all the way to the top with oil, and then you're gonna poke it around with a either like a butter knife or a chopstick or something like that, or the handle of a wooden spoon, because you'll notice that pockets of air will start popping up, and the oil will go from this level down to that level. So you kind of want to fill in the air pockets in between the herbs. So you'll do that, and then you'll top it up some more. So it'll have gone down. You'll add a little bit more oil, and then maybe do that again, and it'll probably go glug, 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 and kind of decrease a little bit more. And you do that until you feel like, okay, it's completely done. Then you seal it tight, and then you shake it, just kind of make sure it's nice and fully shaken around, and it's not just, powder sitting at the bottom and stuff. And then you kind of do that. If you're really good, you do that daily. If not, you would do it like every few days. You can either put it in a sunny window, or you can. I put mine in cupboards up high, away from the kids, because really away from my 3-year-old. My 6-year-old has enough sense to leave my stuff alone. But kids, they play, they might tumble or whatever, and it could all come crashing down. So I have to keep my stuff out of sight. So my things get steeped now in the current place that we live, in a high kitchen cupboard that I don't use a lot. Or sometimes it'll go on the counter in the kitchen, if I need to shake it a lot, but generally up top. So, when I'm cooking or whatever, I just stop by and I kind of give it a shake, 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 shake. And that kind of helps to distribute the nutrients and kind of pull stuff out, and just kind of make sure that, the herbs are getting maximum exposure to the oil. And that kind of will help to circulate things and draw it out. You don't have to shake it every day, but don't shake it like once every 3 weeks. Okay. Yeah, so I like 10 to 12 weeks, but it's really a minimum of 6. So 6 to 12 weeks. I watched a YouTube video the other day, and this woman was saying she did her oil with like in 4 days. I was like, I don't know. I didn't feel like that would really do anything, but it seems to be doing something for her. So you could do 4 days. But I'd say that if you want to do it for a shorter time, you'd have to do a heat infusion, which means you take that same mason jar you created and you do it in a hot water bath, like maybe in a slow cooker, at its lowest setting, or I like yogurt makers. If you can do it in a yogurt maker, that's nice, because those are usually kind of low temperatures, but it's still a little bit warming. The only thing with the yogurt maker is you'll probably have to turn it on several times, because I think most yogurt makers usually only go for about 6 hours or so. So there is that. Yeah. So I think that's everything.